I know you touched on it earlier when you were up in the studio, Scott, but what about that match last night? Mario He and Oliver Szolnocki. Over 4 hours.
Yeah, a lot of people are surprised at that, but you're talking to a guy that just had a 12-hour race to 5 with Jeremy Jones. But that was a different game, Phil. So pretty surprising. Over 4 hours with Szolnocki and Mario He. What were they doing in that match, Phil? Got a little thin. Just needs to run. He's going to get there.
That was quite funny, actually. Walked around the table, just unscrewing his cue. Completely nonchalant. He knew the cue ball was going to make ideal shape. And there it is. 2-2. I think this is going to be a really intriguing match for so many different reasons. Not least because they're playing for an absolute fortune. You're guaranteed 15,000 US dollars if you're in this stage. If you get to the quarterfinals, you're on 25,000 US dollars. And that is normally the prize for a big tournament.
Yeah, no doubt, a ranking event for sure.
In this event this week, I think it's fair to say that while the crowd have turned up to see the big names, Ameer Ali has got lots of support. Also, actually, I've noticed Bernie Regulario has had plenty of support as well.
Well, Phil, I don't mean to interject, but I'm one of his biggest supporters. 2 years ago, I was sitting from my couch at home watching him in the quarterfinals, I believe, of Hanoi. He turned in to be my favorite player. And as soon as I told him that, he went a little dark for about a year and a half, and now it's nice to see him pick it up.
So he regains the lead against Patrick Gonzalez at 4-3.
Break number 5. Anton Raga to break, 2 racks each.
Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz 2-0 up on Kasper Matikainen. Don't think he can see enough, can he, of the two? That's annoying. Annoying for him.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is the part of the game, you know, that can make or break the player mentally. And I think that's the beauty of the World 9-Ball Tour is, you know, the 2 is racked randomly. Yes, they can get the 1 guaranteed on the break, but good luck predicting where the 2 will finish. Can he avoid the 5? If he can shave the 2, 1, 2 below the 7 and maybe wrap around. Hey, he couldn't avoid the 5. Had half of it right. I think he's okay.
You know, it's amazing to me, and I think Jeremy Jones and Michael McMullen were talking about this yesterday. It's amazing to me just how many of the game's top players still look rather ungainly using the bridge.
Yeah, looking at that shot there, but to what you were just touching on, well, a lot of them are so good with the opposite hand nowadays. I'm obviously 6'2", 6'3". I couldn't use a bridge to save my life. But these guys are so talented, backhanded, and with the opposite hand. I think that's part of it. Obviously trying to tuck behind the 9 here. He was off by quite a bit. And he's going to find the gap here, and this could sting. Big coverage up top with the pink and the 3. They look a little nervous. Really want to catch this thin to get what you need out of the cue ball. Yeah, caught it heavy. Don't like what I'm seeing there. You had to catch that thin. He's left another gap.
I think he's bound to be nervous. Can't imagine he would have played a more important match in his life than this. Certainly not a more high-profile match.
know that he's found the gap there. And to Phil's point just a bit ago, I think Raga is going to be a little more advanced tactically from what I'm seeing. You get one extension per rack.
Extension
I'm
called.
assuming he's using it now. We've touched on this before. Some of the elite players will save that extension, especially if they see trouble in the future, like maybe the pink 4. But I think the extension is wisely used here. Can he cut this? Too thin. Got to be a little careful here getting the cue ball away. Wants to catch the 2 pretty thin. Yeah, very clever using the 3.
And also using body English. Just willing the cue ball where he wanted it to be.
Big smiles. Well, he'd like to park right there. Just get some type of distance. It didn't hurt the flick off the 8. Look at this finish. The kick and stick, he'd like to catch the 2 flush here. Oh, wow. The Filipino magic.
Yeah, that below centre striking helped.
Yeah, all by design right there. So is this. This is the second time he's played this ball this way. Look at the cue ball. Well, maybe a bit unfortunate the 2 wired up to the 7.
I think it's worth the referee, though, having a walk down to be in position to see whether any foul is made as Raga plays over the 8 ball. It wasn't. In went the 7. And at least he can control the table from here.
Yeah, really a bit unfortunate that ball lined up the way it did. Going to use the 3 again. Is this the 3rd time in one game, Phil, that he's going to have to use the jump cue, banking the 2 away from the top rail? What are the odds? Pretty close this time, though, for the jump cue. The red 3. I don't mind him kicking to the left long rail here. He's got a chance to make this ball.
I just think, and I'm not saying this with hindsight, I said it before, I just think Raga will win these safety battles far more often than not. But as Carl Boyce said earlier, that's all very well, you've got to pot the balls. See what I mean?
You called it, Phil. I mean, he shot that straight into the rail. It was laying what looked to be perfect. And I was about to actually say that I think that's one of Raga's strong suits is pocketing. Like, that's really where he shines. I like the stroke he put on that. Might have to go into the pink 4 here.
I think over distance, considering the way he cues, which is very, very dependable, I would say this is where Ameer Ali shines.
Yeah, I think he's got to go into the pink 4 here and just kind of gamble a bit. Oh, and it definitely paid off. So well controlled. Laying it up right over the side.
It looks as though for the third time, Ameer Ali is going to take the lead here.
They all have such nice smiles, these people here, and they are so friendly.
In that kind of position, potting balls, delivering the cue straight, Ameer Ali is reliable. And for the third time in the match, he takes a one-rack lead, this time at 3-2. What a great start it is to report for Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz. 4-0 up on Kasper Matikainen, who was the European 9-ball champion this year. Won that over in Tallinn in Estonia. As for Regulario and Gonzalez, nothing to choose between them. Patrick Gonzalez at the table now, trying to edge ahead. Well, the way the balls are here, it might be a case of Speedy Gonzalez in rack 9.
Yeah, Phil, 4 out of the 7 remaining Filipino players have to play each other, so 2 will without a doubt be gone. That will leave 5. Talk about FSR, here he is. And talking about FSR, we haven't talked much about him on stage this week. Carl and I were talking about that just about an hour ago. You talk about a great player with one of the best runs in pool history. It was FSR.
And the most incredible personality.
Absolutely. Watch the cue ball here. He got a big kiss. It's free.
The blue 2 says pot me.
Yeah, he's got to look to the side. Well, no questions on the 1. Might have to pound this a little bit, though. The pink 4 on the left, lower long rail. Can go forward to get to the 5, though. So distance is okay on the 4, but it does become missable. Oh, and so does the 2, Phil.
These centre pockets are totally unforgiving. I think the tightest middles I've ever seen were at the UK Open. Not this year, last year, but these aren't too far off. You have to be so accurate. And that was always heading towards the far jaw. So Raga surprisingly missed the 2 in rack 5, but no such issue in the 6th.
Yeah, and is that going to be a moment, game number 6, where Ali misses the 2 on the side? And things kind of swing to Raga's favor. think you can hold here if you'd like for the purple in the same corner. No problem. These guys are so good at the soft outside spin.
There's an extra layer of pressure on the Filipino players here. If they were to win this and become a world champion, because the country embraces pool to such a great extent, they would be celebrated to the hilt back home. You look online, all of the newspapers in the Philippines are buzzing with the fact that so many of their fellow countrymen have gone deep here. And if one of them could lift the trophy, they would have a very warm welcome back.
Yeah, is he going with outside here or in? Yeah, he's switching now. He wants to stay short of the 7 or just go up. No, he switched to queuing. He started with the inside and went to the outside. Picking the speed up a little bit around the table, so maybe starting out, which I am a big fan of when you're starting out in a tournament match, especially if you're a quick player, maybe starting out a little bit slower until you work your way in to that rhythm.
There's that distinctive bridge move. But he's bridged the gap here, it seems. It won't exist after this 9-ball. Like a busy day at the New York Stock Exchange. Racks are being traded. It is 3-3. I think we're in for an absolute cracker here. An absolutely beautiful sight that is. The coastline, the Red Sea, and then the architecture of Jeddah, the great port city in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. One thing you can always rely on here, the sunshine.
Number 7, Anton Raga to break.
Don't need
3
to
legs
open
each.
your hotel curtains to know what the weather is. Now will this wrap be
Foul.
fair or foul for Anton Raga? I think after that it might be the latter.
Yeah, well, I don't know if the term touche is really supposed to be used in this position, but the same thing just happened to Ameer Ali. Oh, that is chilly.
From chilly to red hot, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 5-0 up on Kasper Matakainen.
Kind of get the feeling that this is the rack that's going to carry a lot of pressure on Ameer. Just getting to the 2 is going to be a challenge. Yeah, he's escaped. Pretty thin here. He's okay. If the 2's frozen, though, drawing this ball, and that's what he's checking now, if it's just a hair off, it becomes so much easier because of where the 3 is at.
Extension called.
Yeah, he chooses to take the extension here. Obviously, he's at the table. But that kind of tells us why. Where the red 3 is, it's pretty vital. Oh, and it is frozen. Oh, you've got to hit this ball so well in order to get it down there. Frozen like that with an outside ball, you really just got to catch the ball prior to the rail. Take another look. Yeah, that is so clean, Phil.
Ameer Ali can pot under pressure. I've seen him knocking some really good balls this week. And the one thing that really impressed me, when he was making his run to the line in his last couple of matches in single elimination, he was surrounded by a lot of fans. He was as cool as you like. And his positional play in the last few racks was absolutely flawless. I really do like the cue action. I think it's workable when there's tension in the air.
I couldn't agree more. And I also like just the way he is around the table. To me, and this is kind of why I wasn't favoring him, but I felt like he could win 11-9 or lose an 11-9. To me, he just looks like he's meant to be here. Like he's been here many times before. But he hasn't.
The international nature of the World 9-Ball Pool Championship is extraordinary. Started out with 128 players, over 40 countries represented. We're down to the last 16 and still 10 countries are represented here, including Iraq.
I like what he's done here. Stayed well high of the 7, so it's extremely natural. Back up towards the 8. Really just preference here. You can come to the second rail if you'd like.
I think we've already established, Scott, that potting will not be a problem for him. His shape, fine as well. I think it's all about whether he can win enough of the tactical duels. But so far, so good. Missed a lot of that pocket. And that facilitated the cue ball coming down the table. And of course, the 9 followed. Ameer Ali not freezing under the pressure. Oh no, far from it. And he refuses to fall behind. He's back in front at 4-3. I think the most important shot of that rack, Scott, was the one that you highlighted, the 2 down the rail.
Yeah, it just tells me a lot about his fundamentals and how good he cues the ball. I mean, I've played most of my career avoiding that shot. You've got to be real comfortable to play it the way he did.
Now over on table 2, I can tell you Kasper Matakainen will not be whitewashed. He's just won rack 6 to trail 5-1 against FSR. And just as we join the action, Sanchez Ruiz misses a very unexpected ball to the middle pocket. So 5-1 for FSR there. It is 6-4 for Patrick Gonzalez over Bernie Regulario on table 3. On table 4, Konrad Yuzhin and Claudio Cacci are 2-2.
And there's another one that we haven't talked a lot about since maybe the early beginning is Claudio. Such a talented young player. He and AJ Manis, I really think, are very similar on the talent scale.
Well, I've seen worse breaks than that.
No, I tend to agree with you. I mean, he is extremely consistent getting the 1 down, and that's all you can really ask for. Actually got great movement on the 9. But if you're getting good looks at the 2, even if it's defensively, you've got to be thrilled. But Phil's touched on this. How good is Ameer Ali tactically? So far, I feel like there's a few question marks in that department. Long way to go. He's got time to redeem himself. I like maybe trying to tuck under the green 6 here. Yeah, nicely done.
So many doors would open for Ameer Ali if he were to win this championship. Iraq is part of Asia. What about the Reyes Cup?
I mean, it's actually a reality.
I think it's probably best not to get in his ear about the ancillary benefits, because it might be an off-putting thing.
What is this? Oh, he could see to jump the 2 ball. I thought he was double jumping the 9. Well done. Finished great. Oh, and there's a great look. Okay, back down. Maybe under the 6 again. Man, that's going to be a bit short. I take it back. What a great strike, Phil.
Well, our doubts about his tactical ability might be in the process of being somewhat exploded. That was a superb shot.
Yeah, the speed at which he hit it is what allowed the cue ball to kind of die off the second rail. Oh, look at this. By design. It takes a lot of heart to kick that at that speed. Because if you don't catch the correct side, you're selling the farm.
Yeah, farm sold, table open. Ameer Ali will be greatly fancying a 5-3 lead. No obvious reason why he can't get there.
He just looks like a veteran. He looks like he's been in this position so many different times. Yeah, but it never fails. He's fallen very awkward here. I think he can draw out purple 5 next. Oh, yes. Very good, sir. This is player preference, but here's another look. You can follow through here or just pinch back. I like coming back a touch. Yeah, perfect.
With the technique he's got, the shot he's just knocked in is almost a certainty. Just seemed to be stretching slightly there. That affected his timing, maybe dug into the cue ball slightly, but he's still okay on the 7. He's not ideal, mind you. Wanted more travel on the white.
Yeah, great observation, though. He was stretching. It looked like he did dig a little bit more than he meant to. Does he have to come around the world here, Phil?
Doesn't lack support, you know. He does not lack support. He doesn't lack much at all, actually. I think he's got a very well-rounded game.
Yeah, he doesn't lack power either. This might be similar to the pink 4, though. Is he forced to pound out or come back? Yeah, maybe a touch thin there, Phil. I think the 8 entered the top side of the pocket. This is a tester.
Extension called.
Yeah, obviously in the back of your mind as a player, you're thinking, don't hit it fat. But here I think you've just got to totally commit to the make.
That was the biggest shot of the match so far, and he knocked it in with great aplomb. How about this? Ameer Ali, mystery man, 5-3 up on Anton Raga. A great story is developing here. What a narrative. The man from Iraq is taking on the Filipino who's got a much more well-known CV. And yet, Ali isn't just competing, he's leading. After the 8 ball, as Scott Frost said, the 9 was an examination. Examination passed with flying colours. So, the winner of this match will take on either Konrad Jezushin or Claudio Cacci. Cacci leading 3-2 in that one over on table 4. Despite the easy ball we saw missed from FSR to the middle in rack 7, he did win it anyway, and he leads Kasper Matakainen 6-1, so more than halfway, the Spaniard, to a place in the quarterfinals. It's tied Patrick Gonzalez and Bernie Regulario. Gonzalez leading 6-5. And earlier, of course, the defending champion, Fedor Gorst. He won the first 5 racks and was never seriously threatened by Mario He during what was, in the end, an 11-5 victory.
And that's going to be dry. I believe. Might have a look at the 1. 5 is close. Oh yeah, he's going to have a look at the 1. Well, this angle tells me he doesn't. So much power. Very compact. Open bridge. Notice the cue come off the hand. It's due to the backhand getting tight after contact, which is normal when you're drawing the ball, but a lot of elite players will use a closed bridge when they're drawing the ball like that.
Plenty of potential balls to hide behind there.
Extension code.
Yeah, what do you do here? Do you come into this ball full, try and get separation? Yeah, that's what he attempted. How does it finish? Not the worst by any means. Can Raga get into our right side of this cue ball?
Ooh, saved by the 3. When the 2 stopped rocking and rolling over that pocket, the 3 had to go in, and it just about did. That could be a big moment.
That could be a massive moment.
Extension called.
I mean, truly saved by the 3. And at that angle into that tight aside pocket, like you just said, what are the odds? Tough coming out of this corner, too. That's why he switched to a higher ball. No, he's handled it very well. And he has a good angle.
Raga ended Saudi Arabian interest in this championship by beating Farhad Al-Dayan 11-3 in the last 64. Now he's trying to overcome the last Middle East player in the tournament. And boy, he's been given a stiff task so far. Winning this rack would be gratefully accepted.
Yeah, can he kind of just softly stun to the 8 here? Or does he have to float forward? Okay, he's going forward. Straight in the heart. Now he needs the bridge here. So no behind the back for Raga. Pinched it, Phil. Did not need to get that close to the 7, and that's probably how he missed the ball.
I'll use that word again, ungainly. It's all a little jabby when the bridge is used.
Yeah, and you catch any part of the inside of that pocket at that pace, you've got no chance of making the ball. That was a massive error there. Off of an opportunity where he fluked the 3 into the side. He could have got fortunate taking advantage of it, and that's what you have to do to win tournaments if you're Raga. Ameer Ali seems to know what to do.
Yeah, he punches those mid-distance spots in as though they're over the pocket. Again, because of that grooved cue action. it is going to be double trouble for Anton Raga. Ameer Ali is doubling up on the Filipino, who's a former runner-up in the European Open. Wow, what a scoreline, and potentially what a story. That is Ameer Ali. Look who he's beaten so far here. Two very good European players in João Grillo from Portugal and Jan van Leeuwen, comfortably 9-4, 9-3 respectively. And then a major Matchroom tournament winner, Robbie Capito. He was beaten 11-8, followed by Luong Doc Tien of Vietnam, disposed of 11-4. And as I mentioned earlier, Luong Doc Tien was playing well enough earlier in the week, in fact on the first evening, to beat Shane van Boening. We sound surprised, we are surprised, but really when you think about the fact that he beat Alex Pagulayan and Max Lechner here last year, and he took a 7-0 lead over Fedor Gorst, we really shouldn't be surprised.
Phil, don't get mad at me, but I'm not too surprised. I told Carl on stage I thought he could win this match. Carl thought he'd get blitzed.
Well, I was halfway between you. I thought Raga would win. Didn't think he'd win easily, but I thought Raga would win.
I've just been paying close attention, and to your point, his cueing, Ameer Ali's cueing is exceptional. He does never get too quick in the backswing, and it's always the same pace. And that ball continues to fall. But this time, he's got to look at the two, and it's a good one.
98% pot success rate. That will get the job done.
at this layout. If he can just drop down below the 7 off the pink 4 to the 5, I think he's home free. And a huge rack to be home free on. To spread the lead by 4, especially after the error from Raga last game. Pretty wise there, Phil. He didn't want to stay straight in. That way he can be off the rail when shooting the purple 5. Just seems to check all the boxes for me. He's done it all. He's doing it all. But I'm not really surprised. I've watched him the last week here.
Well, I saw something online when I was doing my research for this match, which suggested that in the terms of Fargo ratings, he was number 2. That was earlier this year. So again, a clue just about his dependency.
Well, touching on that, Phil, a lot of people said that was a fluke or some type of a misprint or an error. But you're exactly right. Maybe this is why.
On the left there, Mohamed Soufi from Syria, who was in the final of this event
Extension
in
code.
Kielce a couple of years ago. Watching Ameer Ali's progress with great interest.
I think he's good here to just draw up towards the center. Natural to the 8 off the brown 7. Just doesn't look to me like he's going to make any mistakes anytime soon.
And there's no hint of nervousness. Nothing in the body language, nothing in the general demeanour to suggest he's worried about the situation he's in or the opponent he's against or the stakes he's playing for.
Yeah, and this will be a break and run. He's managed the rack as perfect as you can manage it.
There's nothing like a good underdog story in sport, especially in a world championship. Excellent. The words I used to describe Ameer Ali before the start, he's a straight shooter, and he most certainly is. Anton Raga is now in considerable trouble, trailing 7-3. Now on table 3, Bernie Regulario and Patrick Gonzalez, they just won't separate. It's 7-7. Konrad Yuzhishin 4-3 up on Claudio Cacci. And Kasper Matakainen making something of a revival against Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz. FSR led 6-1, it's now 6-3. Matakainen yesterday beat 2 world champions back-to-back. First in Torsten Homan, then Shane van Boening. Now that's something that Patrick Gonzalez might want to remedy in the racks to come. His belt.
You're right about that.
That could cause a foul.
Yeah, it's sticking way off to the side.
Patrick, belt up.
Rack number 11. Ameer Ali to break, leading 7 racks to 3.
Ameer Ali wants to be in a situation where he's just focused. Doesn't want to suddenly realise where he's at, what he's doing. Just do it.
He's going to get another look at the 2 again. Something else, he's breaking from dead on, choosing to hit our left side of the 1. A lot of these guys, you'll see those wear and tear marks right up there by the head string. Some of them a little bit to the right, and a lot of them from the center. You really can't ask for anything more than a look at the two. Can you get behind the pink here and just chip the two down below these balls or below the 9, or do you want to trickle down below the 8 with the cue ball? It's got options. I like what he did. He used both the 7 and the 9, Phil. Didn't know that he could get that thin.
Yeah, I think when he plays safe, he's not too cute, is he? He just does something that will put Raga in trouble. He's done that several times. He's not got to try to cozy up behind balls. He's just dominating the exchanges.
Yeah, very nice hit there. I mean, very, very good hit there. To your point, though, with Ameer, I think he's real good at just playing a high percentage defensive play versus, like you said, really trying to tighten him up. It's working so far.
Extension code.
Boy, can he get, if he can get all of this, meaning the heavy part of the 2, he can shoot through it and probably end up behind the 5 with the cue ball. But maybe just catching the right side of this. Is he looking to uppercut it to the top left? How do you beat that, Phil?
With difficulty. What a shot.
Yeah, how do you beat that?
I'm just trying to put this in a snooker perspective. We've had some shock winners of the World Championship over the years, but even though they were surprise champions, they were established players. Joe Johnson in 1986 springs to mind. But he was a top 16 seed. Sean Murphy, the champion in 2005. He was a qualifier, but he was known throughout the game as a phenomenal prospect. And then going back to 1979, the other qualifier to win, Terry Griffiths. But he'd won lots of high-quality amateur tournaments before turning pro the year before. So again, he was on everyone's radar. I think in terms of the World Pool Championship, which began life in 1990, if Ameer Ali were to go all the way, it would be, I think you'll agree, the biggest shock the championship's ever seen.
Yeah, how could you not agree? But going back to your queuing action, if he had a record, we'd see why he's here. He doesn't have a big record, so that's where he becomes the underdog. If you just look at the queuing, though, he might look like a favorite to win it all.
Something wanted a good script for a movie, this.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, he is nice and tight around every corner.
The beat goes on. It was 3-3, but then Ameer Ali put together 5 consecutive racks, and he leads 8-3. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and Casper Matikainen now 6-4. Patrick Gonzalez has regained the lead against Bernie Regulario, 8-7. And here is Casper with a chance to reduce the deficit further. So last year, the world champion was called the Ghost. What about this year? Could be Casper.
So clever, Phil. Yeah, I mean, a pretty big lead, right? Ruiz 5-1, I believe, right, Phil?
6-1.
6-1.
Six-5 it is. And one other score to give you. Konrad Jezushin of Poland and Kledio Kaci of Albania. They're locked together at 4-4.
Rec number 12, Ameer Ali to break, leading 8 recs to 3.
Well, this is something that has been a high standard for Ameer Ali, and it is the break shot. He must have got a big kiss down low. Actually, probably up top, then down low, typically. We'll get another look. There's the kiss up top and then down low, and then the 3 comes for good measure. That just hasn't been a question when he's breaking the balls, and Federgor's touched on that, Phil. That's what he's concerned about going forward. He feels like everybody else is breaking a little bit better than him there in the final 16. I can't disagree with him from what I'm seeing right here. Considering the push out.
Push out called.
Putting the 3 in front of the left side. I feel like that's dangerous. But maybe he knows what he's doing. Does Raga take the bank on to the lower right? The 3 dictates that bank. Doesn't have to,
Ameer, please
obviously.
play again.
I don't think it's the worst play, especially if you elevate and just hold your cue ball up top there. At worst, you miss and leave distance. At best, you make it with
Extension
position
called.
on the 3 in the side. He's leveled out, so he's probably going to make a smart play here. He sure is. Oh, is this going to get tight up behind the pink?
Wow. I feel rather guilty having all of those doubts about his tactical prowess early. Talk about being completely disproved that theory.
I mean, he hasn't cut off from everywhere here. He's got to swerve around the pink 4. Look at this speed. Does he get a good hit here? Does he get a good hit here? Just shallow.
Foul, ball in hand. Please start the shot clock.
Yes, at that speed, as the cue ball went towards the cushion, you sensed there wouldn't be enough action on the white to be able to make the hit. And now, having put the 3 over the pocket, he's the beneficiary.
I just can't tell, and we're going to find out pretty quickly here if the 5 passes the 8. Phil touching on Ameer's cue action. We often talk when a player makes a mistake about getting quick, and what we're really talking about is the final backswing. The brain wants to copy that movement going forward. Amateurs do it constantly. If you get quick in the backswing, the brain wants to copy the movement going forward, and that's when we mishit the cue ball. Ameer Ali never gets quick in the backswing. He's going to have to come with a big one here. Extremely steep to the lower right. Could cross this. Wow, with inside ball. That is just too good.
This is my highlight of the championship so far, this match. This performance.
Yeah, to hit this ball with inside so clean. Never playing on the TV table before.
Well, I think, based on this, he'll become a regular.
Well, he certainly should. He hasn't broke a sweat yet, Phil, through all of this. I mean, not a drop. I'm sweating watching him. Might have slightly overamped that just a touch. Is the 8 off the rail? It will help him. Similar to a shot earlier, the blue 2 that he had. Did get the 2 down. This is pretty high percentage. How clean.
2 of the last 4 World 9-Ball Championships have featured a Middle Eastern finalist. We talked about Mohammed Soufi. In 2021, it was Omar Al-Shaheen of Kuwait. What about Ameer Ali? He's got the credentials. Nine, 3. That is 6 on the trot and 2 more required to go into the last 8. This is a great display. one of countless pots from Ameer Ali that can do nothing but greatly impress. It's as though he's immune to the nerves of the situation. Does he understand what he's playing for? I think that is the case. It's just that he can cope with the tension, can cope with the pressure so far exceedingly well.
Yeah, I think he more than understands. I think he's actually feeding off this situation. I think this is what he might be built for. Okay, the one did not fall, but look at this. The two drops position on the one.
The hill, is that looming? I'm not commentating on match 3 in our second session. I am doing the last one of the night. So my next task after this, assuming that Ameer Ali wins, will be to go and find him and get some details, get some background.
Yeah, I mean, that's how elusive he really is, and I don't know that it's necessarily because of himself. Phil's going to figure that out for us. But I know one thing, he deserved that little look at the one there, as good as he's played this set. And he's got some type of stroke similar to me that looks like Ralph Souquet's back in the day.
Extension call.
Just really fine-tuned. Even holds the cue similar in that position. I caught a piece of the 6. Wanted to snap around it. Now real thin. He's been pretty smart so far under these situations. Can't fault him if he takes it on. Yeah, I think he's forced to take it on in this position. It's not that tough. I'm a little surprised he didn't take that on. It was quite a ways out. Pocket played pretty big because it was natural to the 5. Raga with a possible opportunity to at least get to the table and maybe knuckle him up.
There's another good thing about this. Carl Boys will be eating humble pie. You must give it him.
I've been texting him, Phil, don't worry. Yeah, he's got a good look here to kick and stick. Well, that's the backdoor plan. They're always going for the side, but just in case they don't make it, they've got cover. Everything is perfect for Ali.
Yes, when you're in the zone, things go well. Everything is smooth.
It just doesn't feel like he's applied pressure on himself to be in some type of a big moment where there's a swing. He just continues to flow through. So you don't get any type of feeling of tension with him at all.
Yeah, he's all business as well. There's no histrionics, there's no great facial expressions. Just gets on with it. Now look at this cueing from Ameer Ali.
There's no hesitation in the stroke. There's just absolutely none. In a position where he's got to get out to get to 10, which puts him within 1. of the quarters. It's impressive.
No need to be worried about that, Ameer. The way he conducts himself, it's as though he's been in this situation, on this table, playing top players in big tournaments all his life. Simply sensational. You know, sometimes when an underdog comes through, they might have had a couple of scratchy wins over big name players who haven't performed. This is not the case at all. I think there's an argument here to say that this performance, centre stage, has been the best of the entire week we've seen thus far.
I don't think there's any question that it's the best.
So, 7 up, 8 to play. Let's assume, and it isn't exactly a wild assumption, that Ameer Ali will win. Who would he come up next against? Well, it might be Konrad Yuzhishin, who's now 7-5 up on Claudio Cacci. On table 3, it is really tight and tense. Bernie Regalario and Patrick Gonzalez. 9-9, although Gonzalez at the table in the 19th, with a chance to get to the hill first. As for table 2, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz now with a little more breathing space against Kasper Matikainen. FSR leading 8-5.
Number 40.
Yeah, Phil, Regalario and Gonzalez both play out of the same room, Bar Boys Billiards in the Philippines. They're in Manila. You've got to wonder when you're playing with each other every day and your friends, how much that affects you on this stage.
Will this be the finishing touch? Well, the 1's in and the 2 is partially open. I wouldn't put anything past him the way he's playing.
Well, you're exactly right. That's how high of a standard he set this match. Big kiss from the red 3. That's what's dropped the cue ball up table. I don't know if he can see enough of the 2 to do much. But another great look at how consistent he has been with the 1 and the side. Can he bank the 2 back up table and get behind the 8 or something like that? Oh, he could see all of it. Once again, Phil, you touched on it. Very simple, right? Just kind of no man's land, using a ball, using 2 balls, but not trying to wedge him up. It's extremely effective. I mean, you're forcing your guy to make a jump shot in order to win.
Raga will be fearing the worst. He's not had a shocker by any means. He did miss quite a simple 2-ball early on. But this is not down to him. This scoreline is overwhelmingly down to the excellence of Ameer Ali, who's spotted 83 balls to Raga's 34.
Yeah, and typically this is where even the most experienced players, we might see some type of hiccup or hesitation. I just don't feel it. I really don't. Now, can the moment get the best of him? Somewhere along the way in this rack, we're going to find out.
I've been waiting for that throughout this run of racks he's put together. I've given up waiting now. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, he has fallen maybe a touch steep on the 4 here. If it's as steep as we might think, maybe he can use the 8, but he'd love to be able to avoid it. I believe he can. Might be able to just drop up between the 7 and 9. Hard to tell. Now drawing out. Well, is this the first mistake in what seems like ages?
I think it is. It's only a marginal mistake, but he hasn't quite travelled as far as he wanted to.
Can he make this? Pretty clever. That's all he could really do, I guess. Maybe kicked behind it. Does Raga go here? He's going to play the percentages and just chip off, come back down.
It just seems with me, and it's understandable, the air is out of the Raga balloon.
Actually got to give Raga quite a bit of credit right there for just playing the percentages versus trying to force something with some type of bank. Okay, is he going to get away with this? Does the 5 get over enough? I'd say he got away with it.
Now, you might think, well, what has he just slotted into the middle pocket? I'm afraid for Raga, that middle pocket doesn't exist at that ridiculously acute angle. But the pocket exists for Ameer Ali.
Yeah, awfully tough here, Phil. Does he play it? It does exist. Yeah, I don't know here. Maybe he's human. But after the performance, how difficult is it to bury the 5 if you're Raga? Big credit to Raga to knock that down under the circumstances.
Yeah, knocked in a really good 4-ball early when he played it at quiet pace. Now, though, of course, he knows his next mistake will probably be his last mistake.
He can cue clear of the 9 here, so that's okay. Wow. Chose to come 3 rails, so he is not feeling bad by any means. Hard to pull the trigger on a shot like that after what Ameer Ali just did to you. We set up for something special from Raga.
Well, we've seen comebacks from this kind of position in the past. Not very often, but there is precedent. Anton Raga, at the very least, keeps the match alive. It's now 10-4 after losing 7 consecutive racks. He finally stops the rot. Now over on table 3, Bernie Regulario is the first to the hill at 10-9 against Patrick Gonzalez, and look at this. Other scores, FSR back in command, it seems, against Kasper Matikainen at 9-5. Konrad Jezushin pulling away from Claudio Cacci, 8-5. Regalario taking his extension. The heart must be beating quite fast now.
He's been in similar positions back in Hanoi. It all comes down to this.
Rack number 15, Anton Raga to
I think
break.
the 7
Leading
slivers
10 racks to 4.
by the 9. We'll update you. Yeah, and dry here on the main table by Raga.
I can tell you Regalario did pop the 7. Now taking on the black 8 ball to the middle. In it goes. And before the 9 is in, Patrick Gonzalez comes to the table, offers his hand in concession. So Bernie Regalario is through to the quarterfinals, 11-9.
Yeah, taking a look at the left-hand side pocket here. Okay. Great shot there, checking the white out of the lower right corner. I don't believe the 3 passes the 4, but it does pass the 8 to the upper left. How do you get there? Maybe a low inside ball wrapping around here? It seems awful tough. How do you get to the short side of the 3?
Extension called.
He must think that he can use a low inside ball here and come 3 rails. Is he wrapping 4 rails?
Valiant, I suppose. And at least where the cue ball has come to rest, it could have been a whole lot more awkward.
Just, the cueing was awkward. He was cued up for a high left ball, but then went to a low right ball. Not seen that. Kind of fooled me. Is he stumbling a bit, Phil?
A little, I would say. There's no gross errors yet, but I suppose it's only natural.
He left him a straight in look at the 3 to the side. Regalario passes. He does make it, right? Regalario wins that match. So he will advance. Phil did touch on that. Sorry, I just noticed him putting his cue away. Ameer Ali, after the miss from Raga to the side, where I thought that Ali made a big mistake.
Well, based on how he's potted so far, how he's dished, how efficient he's been, this could be the beginning of the end.
He's on the rail here. Just really got to bury this ball. Steep on the green. Great shot, though. Might be forced, Phil, to come up and down. But this is what it boils down to.
Win this match, and he's on a guarantee of $25,000 US. You would think he would be consumed with nerves. He was as still as you like on that little roll into the middle. He's made of the right stuff.
Yeah, out towards the center here. Oh, he's coming all the way back. I thought that was a little dangerous. Is he going to get away with it? I thought he could just come out to the center. It was natural to the 8 from the center. He took a chance. Is he clear on this ball?
Wow, this is borderline. The overhead shot tells us that. Now then, that is the first real blip.
You could kind of feel it coming, Phil. Last game, a couple of missed safeties. This game, a missed safety. Yeah, he is definitely human.
Raga must have been thinking about the flight home. Now he's thinking about possibly turning this whole thing around from a seemingly impossible position.
Yeah, if you're Ameer Ali, you just let it go, right? You've played a near perfect match. I'm pretty sure that's what he'll do.
But you've got to be in it to win it, as they say. And Anton Raga remains just about in it. He was 10-3 down, teetering on the brink of defeat. Now it's 10-5. So a penny for his thoughts. What's the old cliche, Scott? The last rack is always the toughest to win. Now, Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz is hoping that doesn't apply to him on table 2, because he's 10-5 up now on Kasper Matikainen, although the Finn is at the table. And from here, he should pull one back. The only other match out there, Konrad Jezushin of Poland leads Kledio Kaci 8-6.
Trailing 10 racks to 5.
Back to the main action. It's a compelling contest.
And that's 2 racks in a row. Raga has been short with the 1 to the side pocket. And you cannot win if you can't get the 1 down, especially trailing in this position. If you do win from that position, you need a lot of help from the man at the table, and I just don't see it coming.
Hold on a minute though. Cracks are beginning to appear.
Yeah, he might be a little bit rattled, Phil. Definite mishits as of late. You did mention that last game is always the most difficult, and there is no doubt about that. I couldn't imagine in this situation how high that heart rate is for Ameer Ali. Trying to track 2 rails tight to the right side of the table here for the red 3. Needs to settle.
Let me quickly tell you, the rack we saw a segment of, Kasper Matikainen did tidy up, so Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz, his lead is reduced to 10-6. Konrad Jezushin, his lead has just been reduced to 8-7 over Kledio Kaci.
Extension called.
Extension called. Digging in here for the low ball. Caught it fat. That will give hope to Ameer Ali. Boy, actually, When these guys miss that ball, typically it's not thick, it's thin. So pretty poor shot there from Raga. Oh, did the 5 wire up if he can get to the 3? Well, the 5 might have lined up here. That would be massive.
You know, there's a demon in players' heads in this kind of situation. You're not thinking, I'm talking about from Ali's perspective, you're not thinking how great it would be to win. You're thinking how terrible it would be to lose, having had 1 foot in the next round.
This is going to be a little more difficult, but it held just in time. That's a great point, Phil. Oftentimes we find ourselves playing not to lose instead of just winning. And the mindset can definitely change in that position. Starting this little run off, though, Raga made a heck of a combination. He had to back cut that combination.
He doesn't like his odds, Raga. He knows too much about pool for that, but he will not be giving up the ghost. No way. He still believes somehow he can scramble through. Oh, but not after missing balls like that. Where is the green 6? The pool gods are playing games with Ameer Ali.
Wow, I'd like to get another look at that. After this rack, that was pretty spectacular. I did not know, but I guess he caught the point. Comes 1 rail down to the lower right corner. He's still alive, Raga.
(10-3) becomes 10-6. Thanks in no small part to a massive slice of good fortune on the green 6 ball. Ameer Ali, when the green was missed conventionally, must have thought, okay, this is it. Let's get this match won. Can you believe it? And if Raga does win this, that green 6 ball, Ameer Ali will never ever forget it. Raga might, but Ameer Ali will not. Now back to table 2, where the end could be in sight. Remember, Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz 10-6 up on Kasper Matikainen.
Yeah, there's nobody more enjoyable to watch than FSR when he's playing good. Probably the softest hands in the game. He can twist and turn, tuck and nip that cue ball as good as anybody, especially in tight areas. He gets so much out of the object ball with a very soft spin. Threw the hand up in the air like he didn't get there. Gotta believe he did.
Coaxed in with side, and actually the side applied really helped with the positional aspect of the shot. All about the cueing, all about keeping the head and the cue arm still. And they were not still, were they? You saw that. Again, the old adage. That last rack is always the toughest to win.
Yeah, Phil, and you're talking about the prize breakdowns, right? This particular rack for FSR is worth $10,000 and a chance at $250,000. He gains another $10,000 if he wins this match, which is $25,000 total, guaranteed, if he can win this rack. But he might have to wait another rack or two.
Yeah, then there's always the thought of making Moscone Cup team, Reyes Cup team, and all the extra enjoyment and financial gain from that. Kasper Matikainen was 2 balls away from defeat, but the Finn isn't finished. Anton Raga is back in the arena. Look, that was the engine room of this match, or so we thought. From rack 7 to rack 13, it was exclusively success for Ameer Ali. But then suddenly, everything changed. The winning line loomed. Maybe pound signs were in the eyes, or dollar signs in this case.
Rack number 17, Anton Raga to break, trailing 10 racks to 6.
Does the Anton Raga rally continue?
Well, that's a good sign for Raga. It's the first time he's really got the 1 down on the break since I can remember. Not a great look at the 2, but I believe he's got a chip of it. Really, this all started, I know Phil will agree, is just a couple of little bit of loose safeties from Ameer Ali. And one thing led to another. Became loose looks from Ameer Ali. Now can he cover Ali up going forward? There's nothing aggressive here, I don't believe. Just use the wall that you've got working for you. Yeah, very good with the cue ball. The jump cue is easy when it's just off the rail, but when it's froze or near frozen to the rail, it makes things a little tricky.
Extension called.
While he's contemplating, I can tell you Konrad Yuzhushin and Claudio Cacci are now all square, 8 racks each. The winner of that to play the winner of this in the quarterfinals.
Big time hit there. By design.
Another opportunity for Ameer Ali to get over the line. Nothing clustered, nothing awkward. Just a matter of holding yourself together. I say just a matter.
Yeah, keeping the demons out of the mind, especially after a couple of blunders. Would still be a great finish and a spectacular win if he can get out here. All of those, or those few little blunders, would disappear. Yeah, he would just love to be able to get slightly over to the left side of the table here. Perfect. Off the rail. Naturally down for the purple 5. he needs an angle here. If he comes out towards the center, it's okay. You can play the 7 in the side, or you can wrap around off the green 6. Less cue ball movement. If you just go to the side with the 7, what's he got in mind?
He's been very even-paced all game. Just get the sense here he wants to try and control himself. He's a little faster than normal, a little more animated.
Yeah, it's finished okay though, Phil. Doesn't need to do much now.
This is it. The moment he's been waiting for. Sweating on. Anton Raga's World Championship hopes are surely dead and buried. It is Mystery Man magic. The marks for Ameer Ali. Well, it has to be A+ for AA. That was simply brilliant. To beat Anton Raga in the manner he did, every congratulation. But it's not going to stop there if he continues to play like this.